Hey friends, welcome to the Glow Getters podcast. My name's Kayla Fahey-Ahrndt, but you can call me KFA because nobody can say that last name. I teach and inspire leaders to step into their power, productive selves, and unlock their fullest potential. I'm a multi-passionate creative and scientist who climbed to the top of the healthcare leadership ladder by age 28, making six figures as a manager. I share what I've learned that I wish I knew when I landed my first leadership role at age 25. You can find more from me on my Patreon site at patreon.com/KFA Glowgetters. Okay, now on to the show. Hey everyone, thanks so much for listening. This is the 13th episode, and today we're going to be talking about how to take back control of your calendar at work. So, do you ever feel like you finish your day wondering if you got something accomplished? Do you ask yourself, what did I do today? Or my ultimate favorite, I feel like I did so many things, but nothing got done. Or what about, I feel like I spent my whole day responding to emails, but I didn't work on anything. So let's take back your calendar. Number one, you should control your calendar, not the other way around. Your calendar should not control you. I know that I have been struggling for the last 5, 6, 7 years trying to figure out what is the best way to manage my calendar. And I can say that it's changed over time. I have tried to figure out best ways to track all of the little tasks I do or all the meetings I go to, and I feel like nothing has worked perfectly, and that's totally okay. I've just kept adapting it, but I finally feel like I found something that gets everything out on paper and helps me know if I have time to fit in another task or project. It helps me know if I'm doing what I said I was going to do, and it helps me know if I'm making progress on the goals that I have for the year. So, my team and I are implementing what we call leader standard work. So, I'm going to share this with you, and it can really be tailored to anybody's work, whether you're working in an office or at home or whatever it may be, you can implement this for you. I'm going to share a tool that you can use in the show notes, but really you can use Excel, a Word document, or really just pencil and paper, however it can work for you. What we're going to be doing is taking a look at the recurring things you're doing and logging the time you spend on those things. And the goal is to capture all the things you currently do. Then we'll capture all the things you need to do that maybe you aren't fitting into your schedule. And then overall, you can use this as a tool to say, okay, I need to level load. Maybe this day of the week is really heavy with meetings and I need to see if they're really value added. Maybe get rid of some, shorten some, whatever it may be, and take back the time for you. And it also allows you to plan for, time for troubleshooting or answering questions. We all know that we get interrupted during the day, so you have to leave what I'm calling white space on your calendar so that you can fit that stuff in. All right, so here we go. So the first thing is to look at the daily tasks that you have. So look at what you do every single day that is taking up your time and write that stuff down. And so these are things like checking your email, hosting maybe like safety calls or meetings, whatever it is in the morning, if you have a huddle or a stand-up meeting with your team. This could be a daily check-in of your team or whatever it may be. This could be, I have this activity that I do every morning. Whatever it is, list all those things. And then list how long you're going to do them for. So for me, just going to talk about email because I hate it. I hate it so much. So I'm a millennial. So I grew up with email coming and growing. And it used to be for me something that was really like fun. It was like, you got mail. And we used it for pleasure. But work, it's been turned into this thing where it's used for urgent communications. And I absolutely think that's just terrible, because what that means is you have to work with your email clients up all day. And how distracting is that? You've got an email, pops up, you're like, oh my God, I want to get to zero in my inbox, which I never do. Some people are amazing and do that. And so they have to answer it right away. Or your boss sends you a message in the subject line, urgent, please respond right away. And you're like, really? What if I wasn't logged into my email right now? So I just feel like for me and my team, we're feeling like we're email fatigued and getting distracted. And so we decided, okay, so we know we do this every day. We need to figure out how we do it in a more, I don't know, strategic way, and to kind of reframe the idea to people that no, we're not going to be available via email all the time because that's not an urgent way to get a hold of us. You can call us or text us or come in person if you really need us. So this is an example of how you can take back your calendar. So you have it on your calendar that you're checking your email daily, and we decided we're going to check it in the morning and we're going to check it in the afternoon, and we decide what times we're going to do that. For our team, it makes sense to open it right away and kind of skim the items and say, is there anything important? Notice I didn't say urgent, but important that I need to answer first. I'm going to take care of that stuff in the morning. And maybe that means I'm going to take care of it right away. And then I'm going to schedule time at the end of my day to check anything that I got while during the day, or things I hadn't responded to that were urgent, that were not urgent, that were important, and get those out of the way. So that is one way that you can take back your calendar and take note that yes, I'm going to account for checking email, but it's not going to own me throughout the day. All right, so daily is pretty easy, and I feel like I don't know, at least for my team, we have some just repetitive things, and we have said to ourselves, we're doing these from 7 to 10 in the morning, and these are the things we need to do to check in with our team every day, and we're calling it a no meeting zone. So our organization has sent out calendar invitations blocking off 7 to 10 in the morning, saying, we're not going to schedule meetings during this time because we're going to use it for our daily safety calls. So we work at a hospital, so there's many calls in the morning to kind of alert the whole system organization all the way down to each department. How are things looking in the morning? So that's another way you can take back your calendar, is schedule time where you're not allowed to have meetings or interruptions. It's amazing. Is it working perfectly yet? No, but it will. So from 7 to 10, no meeting zone. All right, so moving on. So the next thing you want to do is write down the things you do weekly. So do you have weekly meetings or play dates or whatever it is that you're going to put on your calendar? And how long do those things take? And so then what you want to do is mark off which days of the week those happen. So are they weekly every Wednesday from 1 to 2? For example, mark that stuff down. So already you've got a list of the things that happen every single day, and then the things that happen weekly on specific days of the week. I suggest that you map this out for an entire month, or like a 4-week stretch. That's kind of like a typical month template. So then you can see high level. Wow, every Wednesday I have like 5 meetings. That feels really terrible. So daily and weekly are things that are going to happen a lot. So you're going to know like right away, you're going to get a feeling like, am I really booked on a certain day? Do I need to start level loading? If you're doing this in Excel, and even not, you can do this manually. What you need to do at this point is for like Monday, Wednesday, Friday, every single day of the week, tally up the amount of time that you have scheduled. And think about your workday, whatever your workday is for you. Everybody, I know people have different lengths of their day, but say it's an 8-hour day. If your day is 8 hours and already looking at daily and weekly tasks, you have 11 hours scheduled on one day of the week, then you're like, no, that's not going to work. That's physically impossible. That means that you're either coming in early or staying late or both. And the goal here, you guys, is to work smarter, not harder, and preserve your mental health so you can come back refreshed the next day. So I challenge you to mark off the days that are really bad. And you don't have to do anything about them just yet, but make note of that stuff. Make sure you're tallying and looking at, on average, which days of the week are the worst. And I just want to keep in mind, like, these aren't just meetings. It can be like, some of my weekly examples are like, I'm going to write thank you cards to my team every Friday, and I'm going to spend 30 minutes on it. It could mean, for me weekly, I like to check in with, I'm doing one-on-ones, so I like to check in with each leader that I have. So stuff like that. All right. The next thing you want to do is look at monthly. So do you have monthly meetings or tasks you need to do? For me, I need to look at my department budgets monthly. So I spend 2 hours on workday 5 doing those because I know that's when the budget comes out, or I know when the last month's budget is available. So what are you doing monthly? So you can do that same activity where you look at each day of the week and add up the daily, weekly, and monthly tasks and look what's really sucking up your time. So for most of us, this is going to be like the majority of the things that we do. And like I said, you want to look at it, level load, decide, do I really need to spend 3 hours or 6 hours a month doing this one thing? So for example, there's a Thursday meeting that I always go to. I love it. I feel like it's value added to my own like growth because a lot of it is learning a lot of clinical medical things. But in my professional role right now, I don't think that it is value added for the things I need to be doing in that role. So I had to make time for myself on Thursdays. So I said, okay, well, this meeting's an hour and a half every week, so that's 6 hours a month. That's like a whole day I could get back. I think I need to decide either go to less of those meetings or decide not to go to them at all. So you have to make decisions like that. And then you can really tell, like, if I have 8 hours total scheduled for meetings, is that going to really leave me with with the ability to be productive in other ways? So I know, for example, that I have certain goals that I want to meet with my teams and for the organization. So I want to make sure that I schedule those into my time and into my calendar, or else when am I going to work on them? So make sure, I guess as a rule of thumb, I don't know that there's a perfect amount of like meetings to like leaving your schedule open and being able to add in the tasks you want to do or need to do. But I would say like try not to schedule more than half of your day in meetings. Um, like when I have a day where it's like creeping on like 4, 5, 6 hours, I'm like, ooh, I start getting really nervous because that means that I'm just sitting in meetings all day long and I'm not doing productive tasks. All right, so that's going to be the bulk of it. For many of you, you've got quarterly things you're going to want to look at, quarterly metrics. You're going to have semi-annual things or annual things. So make sure you mark those down. Same routine, just put down the amount of hours you're spending on each task and total it up. So now what you can do is you'll have essentially like a month mapped out, and you can be able to see like, okay, Mondays are really good days. I come in fresh. I think I'm going to use those to do my strategic planning on whatever project. And you can start fitting in different things that you know you need to work on. So if you have high priority projects, things that are really resource intensive, things you really want to move the mark on this year, schedule time for them on your calendar, either daily or weekly. Get that stuff booked with yourself. Book appointments with yourself to work on that stuff. If you've got things you want to delegate, but you just haven't, but you know they would add value to your work or whatever organization, schedule time right away. Just say, okay, this month I'm going to get that stuff off my plate and onto someone else's. I'm going to make time to support them and to show them and teach them, give them feedback, but I need to just get that off my plate because you know what? It's going to give you so much mental clarity to be able to say, I know someone else is working on this. I know I need to teach them, which seems like a big feat, but at the same time, like I wouldn't be working on it anyways, and at least it's moving forward, and I can kind of forget about it until I need to coach that person. All right. And then if there are things that are keep being like on your list, like projects and things that you want to get done, but aren't happening, not because you haven't delegated them or not because they're really high resource intensive, maybe take a look at them and say, okay, are any of these urgent and important? Obviously, they're not urgent or you would have taken care of them. Are they important? Sure. Do they need to get done someday? Sure. Decide right now, is this really something? Do I still have a problem? Or would maybe it be only value added if I see like this problem come up again? Maybe the next time this problem comes up again, I'm going to try to solve it. Or does it really need to sit on my list and take up space mentally and physically for me? Because I find that things that are on my list over and over, I'm like, yeah, I should do that. Maybe it doesn't really need to get done. Or it's just not as important as you thought it was at the time. if it was, it'd be rearing its head. It would keep coming at you. So that's just one thing that I've learned, like, okay, maybe that's not a big deal, even though how cool would it be if we could do that? Now, if it really is something that's cool and important, then definitely find someone else who has more passion or more mental or physical capacity to do that stuff. You just might not be the right person at the right time. All right, so that is how you can organize your month and kind of try to fit in your projects and prioritize them on your calendar. And then the next thing is to do a reflection on that calendar. So, you guys, this is your first shot at kind of mapping out everything daily, weekly, monthly, everything, how many hours by day, and fitting in all your tasks. It's going to be a tool that you need to use as a working tool. So every day at the end of the day, one thing I do is think, okay, did I really use the time in the way that I said I was going to do it? So if I scheduled this for, Monday the 11th, is that really what I did today? And of course, I'm going to be looking at my calendar. I'm going to be looking at my standard work every day and being like, yep, okay, I need to do this now and this now. But did I do that? And then if I didn't, write down like, what was my barrier? Maybe it was, that project wasn't as important as I thought it was when I put it on my calendar. Or maybe it was because I took too much time to answer email. Maybe you need to schedule more time for whatever it is. Just I got interrupted or whatever it is, make a reflection of it. And then what you can do is tweak it for next time. So try this for like a month or whatever you're comfortable with, and then tweak it and keep fixing it. So I started doing this in January because I got this template from a friend and I did it for a month and I was like, okay, I feel like I need more time that's only value added for myself to do projects to move my org forward and my team forward. And that's when I decided, okay, I'm going to cut out that Thursday meeting and I want to try to make these other 2 meetings shorter. And so, and I need to add a couple tasks that I've been neglecting. So, I just changed it. I just went in for February. I was like, okay, I know how many days of the month I have and what days I need to do what things. I just edited it and I'm trying it this time and then I'm going to edit it again. So it's not like a set in stone fixed thing. So don't worry too much if you're like, I'm not sure if I spend this much time. You can always change it. It's your calendar, right? You have control of it. All right, so I just wanted to make sure I share that with you so that you're not feeling like it has to be set in stone. Okay, so I hope this has kind of helped you out, kind of picture your calendar and give you the control back that you need. The one suggestion I would have for implementing this is if you have a calendar system that you use, like maybe it's electronic, maybe it's just your planner, whatever it is, take your standard work and look at what you've got going for each day. So like tomorrow, it's Monday, whatever day it is, go through and write down all the things that are on your standard work, like the meetings and things you do. Make sure you schedule in any room for projects or white space for interruptions that you need to, and then follow that. And so really your standard work where you've captured all your time at a high level is really a template, so then you can plug it into your calendar each day. So I plug mine back in my Outlook calendar so that I'm like, all right, it's 1:30 and I said I was going to be working on this. Am I working on this? Okay, better start working on that. So that is kind of how I manage my time is I use this template to map out, how many hours I've scheduled and tasks, but then I put it in my calendar to actually implement it. Okay, so I hope that serves you well. Put it in your planner, whatever you need to do to be able to be like, ping, okay, now it's 2, this is what I need to be doing. All right. So I hope that helps you with the implementation. Stay tuned. I'm sure I'll do more episodes on how it's going for me and what my standard work has come to know throughout the year, reflecting not only daily, weekly, and monthly as well, so that I can, follow up on the goals. Is this calendar helping me meet my goals? Am I using my time in the most productive way that I can? Am I showing up each day feeling prepared? So when you ask yourself, did I finish my day am I wondering if I got something accomplished? You can say, yes, I totally did. You can look back at your standard work. And lastly, I would just say is at the end of every day, that's when you can look at the next day. So, like when I was talking about adding it to your calendar, look at your next day so that when you come in the morning, you don't have to worry. You're like, boom, I know exactly what I'm working on and I don't have to plan anything. Like it's all there. I will say that sometimes in the morning, I'll just quick do a high level glance at the current day and the next day to make sure the things I'm doing today are aligning with the next day and that nothing has come up in that like morning email check that means that I need to like rearrange my schedule. So that's how you can kind of self-manage yourself. Put 15 minutes on your calendar for daily reflection in the morning as well. All right, everybody, I hope this has served you well and helped you take back your calendar. You should be in control of your calendar, not the other way around. Let me know what you think on Instagram. I'll be posting on my stories, and I'd love to hear some more tips and ideas from you about how you manage your calendar. All right, thanks. Whoa, that went by way too fast. Thank you so much for listening to today's episode of Glow Getters Podcast. You can get the bonus content for this podcast at my Patreon site at www.patreon.kfaglowgetters. And also you can check me out on Instagram at Kayla Fahey-Ahrndt. All right, everyone, until next time, be a light in the world. Talk to you soon.